welcome back to our fall series of the Talking Into Profit show. I know we've taken a couple of months off for the summer. I hope you guys all enjoyed your holidays. If you are here with us live, drop in the comments where you are joining us in from. And I have the incredible Paul Banks here with me today to talk. I know he's like, he doesn't get when I say it, but he's a badass when it comes to video and content strategy. So anybody here
Paul Banks in here?
Right? I know. Yeah. Who's that guy, right? So get prepared for a lot of amazing gold laughs because I have never been on a call with this guy where I'm not pretty much crying from laughing so hard by the end. So that's just how our conversations go. And it's because we do, and I suppose I probably shouldn't tell them this, Paul, but we enjoy cracking jokes about the really bad DMs we get.
We share pain. We share the pain. The pain is real.
It is how we met, actually. If anybody remembers the post I talked about where I actually called someone a douchebag, that is how Paul and I met.
Oh, that really resonated.
He sent me a sympathy DM. But since then, I've got to know really what a true badass he is when it comes to video. And I love doing live streaming, as you guys know, and everything. This guy can make YouTube rock, your social media rock, everything when it comes to video. So yeah, I do love you, Paul, as you know. So if you're here, let us know. Anybody here hate the sound of your voice on video? I mean, I'm still going to put up my hand on that one. I hate it. I do hate it.
If I do that, it's kind of like we were sharing the same hand there. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's true. Yeah. Anybody? You pretty much get the hives of even thinking of getting in front of a camera. That used to be me in 2019. Seriously, when I first started, I was such afraid of public speaking. A whole thing in the 7th grade. I'm not going to get into that now. Just class jock. Yeah, you know how that goes. Popular kid picks on somebody, and all of a sudden you got trauma the rest of your life. Yeah. But in the beginning, I would actually seriously drink a glass of wine, my liquid courage, just to do my first few recordings. And then for me, my magic thing was when I started doing lives, for some reason, for me, that was a sweet spot. I still struggle to do pre-recorded. So I love it that way. I don't know about you, Paul. I don't think you like yours more pre-recorded, don't you?
I'm happy either way, but like I'll tell you this. That glass of alcohol before recording a video, it doesn't make the video any poorer quality. I'd absolutely recommend it as long as you can contain it at that one glass. Don't go any more than that, because otherwise you're a bit too personable.
Yeah, too many gets much. But yeah, and it was only the first few. After that, I got it where I could do it on my own. But it did take me doing that to get through the worst of my stage fright of that kind of stuff at public speaking. So hey, if that's what worked and got me where I am today, I will own it.
Why not?
Yeah, you got to do what you got to do to get started, right? At least I wasn't driving. Yeah. So to give everybody an idea who Paul is, besides he is a video and content strategist and a mentor. He does a combination of done for you and teaching you how to do it video services. He is also the proud father of 2 boys, which he coaches football, soccer for all my US peeps. He cleans up puke, changes nappies, which I can attest that he does all 3 of those because I've seen the photos and the evidence. His superpower is his ADHD, which he uses to help executive coaches and business owners get their ideas out of their head and into videos so that they make sense, and then you can use them on socials. And like me, he has a severe allergy to crappy DMs.
Amen.
So Paul, what made you fall in love with doing video? And tell us about how you got into helping other people do theirs.
Honestly, I've just been invited to a podcast before this, which I'll explain why in a second that's relevant, because the podcast is called The Aha Moment. And the aha moment is the whole reason I'm in video. So, like a lot of people who are on LinkedIn right now, they've got a previous corporate job that they've left to start their own business. I'm no different. I spent best part of my career, 15 years in retail, 10 years of that as a volunteer police officer, and I probably spent 8 years trying to get out of retail. I did my time, spent too long in retail, and it's a young man's game, right? I'm not getting it, as you can well see, right? I used to have hair when I started retail, I no longer have hair, and that happened within about 3 years. So I spent a long time trying to figure out how on earth I'd get out of retail, and all I could ever see myself doing was the same jobs I already did, but for different businesses. And that's not getting out of retail, that's just more of the same. And I was fortunate enough to get an opportunity to work with an AI consultancy, an AI startup based in Manchester here in the UK. We got talking on LinkedIn. The guy rang me while I was in store. I had an 8-foot pallet of stock that I'm putting out off the shelf. I've got the phone tucked here, and I'm putting out stock on the shelf, telling this guy my life story about what I've been doing in retail, because I spent a lot of time in internal theft and fraud prevention, which leads into analytics, which leads into what he was doing with AI and SaaS software. Cut a long story short, fast forward 6 weeks, I'm now working as a senior solutions consultant at an AI startup in Manchester for my first ever time working from home. It's March 2020, COVID's just hit, and we literally got put into lockdown that week. I was petrified. I'd just given up a 15-year career to work in an industry. I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't even understand B2B. I had to have somebody in the team explain B2B. I got the gist of it, but I didn't really understand it. And all of a sudden, I found myself, I took on this solutions consultant position to try and develop a retail proposition for these guys. I didn't know what that actually meant. Not going to lie. Neither did they. It's okay. And in the end, what we settled on was that I was going to try and lead their sales team, me being the sales team, and in selling complex analytical software to call centers globally, not in the UK, globally. I've got no experience in call centers. I've got no experience in analytics. I've got no experience in B2B. I've got no experience on LinkedIn. I've got no experience in sales. I've got no experience in marketing. What the crap have I got myself into? Right? So I'm petrified. And what I found was the same reason we met, Heidi, is like I'm pretty good at opening doors. I like speaking to people. I'm quite natural and curious and genuine when I talk to people. So that part of things was going really well. Like when I get a conversation, I get in front of people, I do pretty well. The hard part was getting those conversations, and our audience were very, very senior people. And what I realised was, after about a year of trying to do this, varying degrees of success, it's got to be something else. It's got to be something more efficient that we can do, where I can lend somebody else's credibility to add to my own, to make me seem more trustworthy and reputable within that industry. So we started to run a podcast with my CEO, and I started running live streams on a Thursday. I ran one every Thursday for a year with influencers from the customer experience and customer service industry. And that was great, but I was spending 20 hours a week chopping up a 30-minute podcast. Because I'm ADHD, I can't watch a video and edit it at the same time. I'll get to the end point and go, well, that's a good end point. Where was the start point? And I try and watch back. And then, there's something on the floor over there. Why is that on the floor over there? And I'm away, I'm doing other things. I can't focus on that video element of things. Right. And bit by bit, I discovered tools that would help me get around that. So Descript, being my favourite tool of all, is my video editing platform, where you put video into it, it transcribes it down. It's like editing a Word document. That was the start of the aha moment. Because what I managed to do was to turn what was a 20-hour-a-week process into a 4-hour-a-week process, which left me with time to do my job. But more importantly, it gave us a steady stream of content across the team from very little input. And that's where I started with things. 18 months later after that, I put 204 opportunities into their pipeline. We had a pipeline worth 25 million ARR.
Nice.
And no experience whatsoever. My thinking then went, if I can do this with a very niche audience, with a very technical product, with a very expensive ticket price, I wonder what I could do for myself. And here we are. So if anybody's out there doubting that video works for you, or trying to come up with excuses that oh, my clients just don't like video, or my personal favorite,
Mm.
they're not on LinkedIn, or
I love that one.
oh, I haven't got time for video, right? I'm here to tell you that I'm sorry I've busted all of your bubbles all at once. It is entirely possible to do. Your audience, more than likely, there are a few exceptions, very few exceptions. I
Yeah.
know a scaffolding engineer on LinkedIn who has his own YouTube channel, and
I
he
know a
is
horse trainer
successful,
with an
right?
Instagram.
So there are very few exceptions to that. And I have proved it can be done, and I've done it in very little time for very little effort. If I can do it with no experience, you can do it with no experience, but you do have to
Amen.
prioritize it. That's the only caveat with all of that. So that,
Yeah.
long story short, sorry Heidi, I took over a little bit there, but I think that story is worth telling to everybody who's out there thinking, video, yeah, it's awful. Yeah, it is. I'm not going to lie. I, I, I do probably enjoy being on video now. I don't enjoy watching myself back or editing it. It's awful.
Yeah,
I am
that's my
boring.
one thing I hate. I joke with my husband all the time, but I know there's one thing he actually, my voice is in his ears all the time because he does all my video editing. So I kind of feel sorry for the guy. I mean, we have a running joke with me and all my clients and everything because everybody's like, oh, I can hear your voice in my head, and he goes, yeah, I hear it all the time.
I hear it when I'm asleep as well. Yeah.
But I'm so blessed because I really don't like to watch back my videos either. I mean, I only do it if I have to because because I am checking to see, okay, how did I do? Do I need to make an adjustment? Things like that. So I do watch them back, but I also don't have the attention that you do. So it's like
Yeah,
I keep
if I was using any other tool to edit it, it wouldn't get done. It wouldn't get done. It's only that visual representation, and also I find it speeds things up rapidly because you can scan through the words, and we can scan stuff faster than we can watch things in real life. So you can actually get through I don't know, 30 minutes worth of editing in 10, 15 minutes and read the whole thing through carefully, and you've done it.
Yeah, I love that too because I'm better. It's so funny. A lot of people don't realize this about me, and I think a lot of people do this actually. But I actually watch most of the videos I watch with the sound off, so I'm
Yeah.
reading captions. So,
Yeah.
so that's just works better for me because, like you said, I mean, I can speed it up. I can get through it. I don't have to unless it's somebody I actually like to watch, listen to the whole thing. Sorry, guys. I don't watch all your videos.
It's definitely not me. It's something like 73% of all video consumed is consumed with the sound off.
Yeah, because most people are doing it at work or in places where they can't watch it. So
Or on mobile. And let's face it, if you're watching it on mobile, half the time you watch it at work, half the time you're watching it at home. You don't want your family listening to, I don't know, me talking about video. So you mute it.
Or you're on public transportation heading home or whatever it is. I mean, you don't want everybody around you. You don't want to annoy everybody. So yeah, exactly. So let's dive in today. Let's give these guys some gold. I mean, stories are good. They're already getting some, but let's really give them some gold. We told them we would. But one thing that I get an ejection of, and I see it because you gave it to me in a question too, was a lot of people are like, I can't connect with people through video. And we both know this is BS. So
Nice.
tell me your response to that one.
I love video for this reason, is that video, we said this the other day, right? Video is like having a Zoom meeting with your entire audience, but one at a time. And you only have to focus on one person. So we can have this conversation here now, like we're doing right now. As far as I'm concerned, Heidi, I ignore everybody else that's in the room. Sorry, everyone. Like, it's nice to have you here and everything, but like, I can't concentrate on things at once. So I concentrate on Heidi, and it's like we're having a conversation. It's pretty natural. Pretty much everybody who's watching this will do that for a living or a big chunk of their day. It's no different. Mm-hmm. It's like doing that, but instead of just giving it to one person, you're giving it to 10,000 people, 1,000 people, 100 people, and reaping the rewards of having that private conversation magnified out to everyone. For everybody who is in your target audience will see it. the subset of that target audience who align with you will watch it and go, oh, that's really good. I like that. He said something that was really, I mean, I'm not sure I have that. Like, I'm not sure anybody aligns with what I say. Nobody can make head nor tail of me because I'm English, right? But the point of the matter is, like, they're going to see you. Like, it's better than have 100 one-to-one networking conversations.
Amen.
And I'm not saying don't have those. Absolutely do have them on the follow-up. But as an initial awareness piece that tells people who you are, what you believe, and what you align with, there is nothing better. And you can't fake it. Can't fake this ugly.
That's what I'm always telling people. I mean, you get to see attitude, you see body language, you see facial expression, you hear the person, you're watching them. This engages so much more of the senses than just reading content on a screen that you can, I mean, you're here, you're live, and it just makes so much easier to establish trust, because people are seeing you, they're hearing you, and it's going through their brain. And if they like what you said, I mean, let's be honest. Anybody here, how many of you have just not liked a person because you didn't like the sound of their voice? Me. I mean, I'm sorry. I hate to say it. There's been a few people that I just could not stand being around them just because of the sound of their voice. But you get to learn that kind of stuff through video, which you cannot do if you're just in the written word.
No. And I just think, like, in this age of AI where everything is fakeable other than you, and I'll be honest, I think it's going to get there rapidly. I don't think I'll be able to say that in a year and a half.
That's already fakeable, yeah. That's fakeable
but
now.
the level of fakeable, I'm not convinced at. Will it pull funny faces whilst you're talking? I don't think it will. It won't do this, which I do all the time, and I've no idea why I do it. So you'll still be able to tell, but it'll be a harder judgment call. But right now it is, and LinkedIn video growth is at the peak right now. Like, they've introduced the new horizontal video feed. You know, it's being pushed out. There has never been a bigger push, and never has it been more easy to grow your organic LinkedIn brand without spending money here on LinkedIn.
I agree. I mean, that new rollout where they're putting the focus on video, and everyone, we know everybody wants to complain about algorithms, lack of reach, this and that. And it's one thing I always like to remind everybody: if you lose reach in one area, you're always picking up reach in another. And right now, that is video on LinkedIn. So put your videos out there, get over it, get them out there. I mean, Stephanie here, she's joined us. Hey, Stephanie. She's like, I will check and recheck my written content, but my videos I record and upload. Probably not the best strategy. Why not, Stephanie? What do you got to say to that? I think it's great.
I don't remember the last time I re-recorded a video, even if I had a mistake in it. I just won't do it. Because if I re-record it, we said this again the other day, if I re-record it, it's crap the second time because my brain's got bored of seeing it. So your first time's it. Like, don't overthink it. Too many people overthink video, overthink what they've got to say, especially if they're trying to talk about their business. Like that is just a word of advice. If you're trying to get into video, talk about your business last, because you need to be more comfortable with talking on video first. Than worrying about whether I said exactly the right thing and came across in exactly the right way about my products, features, and services. What's much easier to talk about is who you are, what you believe, and why you're here. Everybody can do that to an extent. But no, I think you're absolutely right, Stephanie. Done is better than on a hard drive somewhere waiting for somebody to check it.
I agree. And that's also, I think, why I like live so much more. And Paul, we were talking about how we forget to hit record sometimes on things, and all of a sudden you're just like, you've done a whole thing and you just like realize you got none of it. But that's what I like about lives, and that's why I find them easier. I will, if I hit the record button, I'm a recovering perfectionist. So I'll be like partway through, like, crap, I messed up. You know, and I know I can stop it. I know I can edit it. So I'll redo that part or whatever. Instead, with a live, I got to jump on and do it. So whatever happens, happens. Tech happens, fine. I say something wrong, fine. It just is. And I find that so much easier for that.
You're absolutely, it's quite cathartic being live. Once you get over the fact that you're live, because I have to say, when you first start doing it, when you press that live button, your
Mhm.
heart rate and adrenaline goes through the roof for about 10 minutes. It's
It
awful when you
does.
first start doing it. It's really hot. After that 10 minutes, you forget that you're live, and it's much more like having a Zoom. So I always advise people, where possible, just kind of, and this goes for more pre-recorded video, but hit that record button before you're actually ready to say things, and then talk about other things for a little while until you hit your ground running. But I love the little moments when my clients send me video and they'll be recording something, be very, very serious. And then all of a sudden, that I won't have even realised they've said something wrong, and they'll be like, "Oh, Paul," and they'll just be talking to me as if I'm there. It's just a monologue. It's just them and the camera. Be like, "Oh, Paul, I'm going to redo that last bit. Sorry, can you just edit that out?" And I live for those moments, right? Because we're all human. We all do it. Like, you'd be forgiven for thinking, if you're on LinkedIn, right? And I'd love to hear what you think on this Heidi. Is like, you'd think everybody was perfect, like nothing ever wrong happened. Nobody ever has any failures. Nobody ever has any challenges, or has a
Oh,
bad day, or is rubbish on video, or say something. I've released blooper reels. I want
oh
people
yeah.
to see that it's all natural, because
Oh, blooper reels are the best. I mean, as embarrassing some of them they can be. Come on, they get the highest content engagement. People immediately send you messages telling you their stories. I mean, you want to get engagement up on LinkedIn or any social platform. Post your blooper reels because you will get the comment. We've all got it. I mean, we've all got it. It's just like I sometimes throw in the tech post, the tech question, because honestly, tech fails more often than not. And so, I mean, my last LinkedIn Live of the summer before we went on break, I literally had the guest on her first time on live, first time on LinkedIn Live with me. Well, Restream kept kicking me out. I tried like 5 times to get back in. She had to carry the show. And fortunately, she was a pro enough. She carried it. She did. First time doing it. And she carried it. Nikki Carter, shouting you out, lady. But she carried the show for me, my show, and and now she's to the point she could do them. So, but you want to get people going, that will definitely do it. Let's see. Stephanie said, I will spend all day recording and re-recording. The first time is the most authentic. Always, always. And then she also taught virtual yoga classes all through COVID. There was no second chance. What was said was said. Yeah, the energy changes the more times you record. It does. You might think you're getting better, but I don't know about you, Paul. I know every time I re-record, I actually get bored.
it's not fun. It's because
Yeah.
you realise how much time you've wasted recording it the first time, when you could have just
Yeah.
done it. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And also I also love things like auto captions. Like, I do a lot of manual captions for my clients. It's worth, like, when you're releasing professional videos, it's worth just paying that extra, because
Yeah.
I used to work for a guy called Jimmy Horsang, and LinkedIn kindly retranscribed his surname as Hor's son live on LinkedIn one day.
I thought that was
Jimmy
going to go
Hore's
worse.
son. I introduced my boss as Jimmy Hore's son. Yes, thank you for that, LinkedIn auto transcribe. That's brilliant. And I've got another client who, it transcribed something she said. I don't even know what it is that she said. She's let me get this right. She's living in the Netherlands, and she's got like a quite Eastern European accent, and it translated what she'd said as masturbation in the middle of a professional webinar, like a full-on professional vendor-focused webinar. It translated, and she got screenshots sent to her with it on. She's mortified. Awful thing to happen, but this is part of why we do what we do, right? Is it just
It
be
is.
yourself, and that's
And
something that
it's
you're super good at, Heidi. Super good at helping people become as themselves.
Thank you. I always appreciate when you say that. I do work on that because we all want to show up. And it's funny, Beth has the comment here: the people who perceive us as perfect probably failed the most. But yeah, because for sure. But yeah, I mean, it is that authentic connection. And if we can get your voice through, and whether it's video or even written content, but especially on video, you can just show up as you. You're going to stand out. Don't try to copy all these. I know there's so much advice, especially on Instagram. I'm sure it's probably on YouTube right this minute too, but you've seen it, I'm sure. advice right now, go look at the top 10 most popular videos on Instagram right now and make your version of them. Pretty much copy them and use the idea. And I'm just like, but why? That's not you. I mean, I get the
Yeah.
idea, learn some techniques, that kind of stuff, that I get. But then now my Instagram feed, which my LinkedIn feed's starting to look the same when I click the video tab already, unfortunately. But they all look the same and you don't stand out. And I get bored and I quit watching them.
Yeah. Well, here's the trick, right? Everybody says to me, right, first of all, everybody says to me, Paul, how much business is video going to drive for me? Is it going to drive leads in the first 30 days? I'm like, no, it's not. It shouldn't. If it's doing its job right, it shouldn't.
Yes.
How many is going to drive in the second 30 days? None. How many is going to drive in the third 30 days, Paul? What are you trying to sell to me here? I'm like, probably none. Like, this isn't a short-term game.
Yeah.
This is building a brand, building awareness. And only when you have enough of your content out there that people can watch it and decide for themselves whether they want to buy from you, they've got to go from awareness, oh my God, this person exists, to, oh, this person's an expert and I like what they're saying, to, I really align with this person, I really like them. And when I have one of those problems, I'm going to come to them because they're the only person I want to work with, to, I have that problem, I need to email Paul, right? So you've got to go through that whole journey. That takes time, takes effort, takes a lot of video content or a lot of other content as well. I'm not just advocating for just video.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you get to the end of that, you get a consistent lead base and you get consistent referrals because your referral network know who you are. You get qualified leads come through. You get no or very few bad leads. And that is my personal favorite bonus from doing video content is the tire kickers that I used to get have gone because they can see what I do. They can see my prices on my website. They can find all the information they need and they've disqualified themselves. And I haven't had to do it for them. Brilliant. So instead of having to go through 10 leads, I have to go through 4 to get 3 clients. Oh, that's okay. I can do that.
I mean, heck yeah, right? And I mean, it's like I'm always reminding people, there's so many people that think they're literally, and I mean, I've actually been asked this question. I've posted 2 pieces of content, and this is written, guys, this applies for all your content, not just your video content. I had a lady, she said, I've posted 2 posts on LinkedIn. Why am I not getting clients? And I honestly had to stop a minute and bite my tongue with the first words that were going to come out of my mouth because it was not nice. But seriously, we've been sold this idea that all of this happens overnight, whether it's with videos or lives or written content or anything else on social media. And honestly, guys, it takes 90 days to 6 months. 90 days usually to really start seeing the ball rolling and things to start moving. And I like to call it the snowball effect, though, because if you do it consistently, you show up, even if you're not seeing results yet, and you start the little snowball at the top of the hill. It can be just the flower or the snowflake, and it just starts rolling and rolling and rolling. By the end of that 90 days, like Paul said, you're going to start seeing results. People are going to start, leads are going to start. It's all going to start. It could start sooner. It could. It's likely about that time frame. But you have to consistently do everything first. And then once you keep consistently doing it, it doesn't stop. I mean, that's about your
point. Right? If you do it for the purpose of getting business and leads, you're doing it for the wrong reason. That's the important bit for me. That's the thing that really changed my game, was that realization that the more I chase business and leads through the video, the less business and leads I'm going to get because it come across the wrong way.
Yes.
And this is the other thing that I wanted to lead into with this is what you record video about has to be something you're passionate about. Otherwise, you're going to dry up and stop doing it in a month at most because you'll get bored. So if you pick something that you know your ideal target audience want to hear about, but you don't care about, that's fine. But just know that, one, you won't be genuine, you won't be authentic, you won't be passionate or enthusiastic, and people will see straight through you. If you find something that, my concern, and I get a lot of people talking to this as well, was like they're always worried that their subject is kind of irrelevant to what they actually do. So they have something that they're an expert on, that their target audience need to hear about, love hearing about, absorb lots, but they're worried that they're not getting any airtime to talk about themselves and their business and what they do and their features and benefits. I'll be interested to see what your thoughts are on that, Heidi.
Yeah, it's, you know me, it's about relationship building. So I truly believe if you work to build the relationship and strong connections, that people are then going to click through. They're going to set your LinkedIn profiles up right, have your website set up right, set your YouTube profiles up right. If you set the information, your virtual you that's there all the time when you're not up right, then yes, you post some sales post in every now and then. I mean, we talk about, I have an 80-20 rule on it, 20% the sales stuff, 80% everything else. But if you build, you can get so many clients just through building the relationship and just focused on that. I've gotten clients, you guys are gonna laugh about this one. One of my most popular posts on LinkedIn, and this was a written one on this one, but I jumped on one day. I was feeling a little spunky. You might have seen this one. I got out of the shower. I was gonna do a masterclass that afternoon, and I was getting my pre-masterclass ritual going on. And I always shave my legs. They're never gonna be seen, obviously. But it's part of my getting ready into my badass self for my master classes, so I show up the best. And so I was feeling this moment, and I just hopped on LinkedIn. It took me 2 seconds to write this post that it started, I shaved my legs. I made sales because of that post. And I was just talking about pre-rituals before events. I mean, so guys, you don't have, I just, of course I mentioned the event because I was getting ready to do it, but there was nothing else. I mean, it was just about what do you do for pre-rituals? That was it.
But that's it. And I think if you focus on creating content that, right, I think we also need to address vanity metrics, right? Like as part of this, if we're going to go down this route, and video is probably the biggest. Yes. So if you put a lot of effort into creating video content, internally your brain desires from you some real ROI on that. What is the return I'm getting? Because you just put me through a really horrible experience. These figures, these views and comments and shares better be worth it. Otherwise, I'm not doing it again. And
then you won't be creating content online.
It's not good. It's not good. So I'll let you into a secret, right? Like some of my videos don't do very well. I've been doing video for 5 years at least. There's something like 800 videos on my LinkedIn profile if you go and search on the videos, right?
Nice.
Something near that on YouTube as well. Some of them are the same. I'm not going to lie. Some of them are just a different format.
Wow.
And yeah. I still get videos that get maybe 200 views, right? That's fine. And I'll tell you why. Because when you look at the demographics behind that, and you need to look at this, guys, if you're going to do video or you're thinking about it, even just with your written posts, go and have a look at the analytics behind the views. That's the important thing, not the number of views, the demographics behind it. And check to make sure that they align with your target audience. Because when I did it and I got 209 views, I had 35% were CEOs, 25% were founders, 25 or 26% were coaches or executive coaches, and a mix of other job titles. That is absolutely perfect because all it takes is, for me, I don't need volume. I need one client a month, maybe, right? So out of 200 people, if 150 of them are in my target audience, I bet I couldn't get that with Google paid ads to that level of granularity.
And that's a win. And yet we've got this idea because we've been sold this thing more and more and more and more on views and comments and all that kind of, and don't get me wrong, you guys know I love comments because that's conversation. But that still doesn't mean you made sales just because you had a great conversation. Whereas, I mean, some of my best posts have been the one, as far as sales go and leads coming in the door, have been the lowest performing on metrics for sure. So, well, we got, I think it's Syria. I hope I'm saying your name right, honey. He said, time to upload my web design work in video format now. I'm sure. Yes, 100% on that. And Beth has said, I hear so many people complaining about their presence on video, and I just tell them, do more and you'll get better. My first videos, you can see me shaking, hear my voice shaking. Oh my God, we don't even want to talk about my first videos. Yeah, see, right? It was everybody, guys. I don't know of anybody who hopped on. Paul, do you know anybody who popped on video the first time without voice shaking, without, or your body shaking, or something where maybe you didn't record it or put it up? But if anybody's here, did anybody get on and get a video perfect the first time? Come on.
My very first podcast appearance wasn't on video. It was audio only, but it was a video meeting, right?
Yeah.
So we're recording it in a video meeting. And I've spent 15 years in retail doing what I'm told. Right? In corporate world, like we all do. I couldn't post on LinkedIn without passing it through the head of admin, so I didn't bother. We had to get all our posts checked, right? But I didn't, because I didn't want that. That's not me. I'm a rebel. I like breaking the rules. Surprised I didn't just post them anyway to see what happened. So all of a sudden, I'm branching out. I'm getting quite well known on LinkedIn. I'm making a lot of good connections in the retail space because that's where I was initially tasked with handling. And I got asked to be part of the Retail Risk podcast. Now, the Retail Risk podcast is huge in the loss prevention world, right? Everybody's sat there going, what's loss profit protection, loss protection? Right, so think internal theft, sales, external theft and sales, shrinkage in retail, all those sorts of things. I've got quite a stock being written off, damaged, stolen, all the rest of it, right? Like, and I've got quite a lot of knowledge on that subject. So they were like, "Oh, do you want to be on the show?" And I was like, "Is there another Paul here? Like me? Yeah, you." I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'll be on the. I've not been on a podcast before." Okay, right. So and it's in Australia, right? So it's at stupid o'clock in the morning as well, right? I'm getting up at like 6 a.m. my time. It's 7 a.m. in the morning. And I'm sat there like I'm sweating buckets before we've even started. I get on the podcast, and she's like, "Right, so just nice and relaxed. We'll press go and we'll record." And I knew there was no video coming of it. I knew it was just audio. And after 10 minutes, I nearly passed out through hyperventilating. Oh, I don't think I actually took a breath in my intro at all. I think I just talked and talked and talked and talked and talked and turned purple and nearly passed out. I to the point where I could see flashing things in front of my eyes. I was hyperventilating so much. It's so embarrassing. You can't tell if you listen to the podcast, by the way. Like, it sounds perfectly like I can hear the change in pace because I realised what I'd done. And then after I got that out of the way, it was actually quite all right for the rest of it. It was fine. It was a bit weird, but it was fine. And then to your point, Beth, like every podcast I did after that became a learning curve, and you just learn to control. I don't think it ever gets easy, but you learn to control it much better, and you know what to expect, and you know what to anticipate, and you learn tricks about, like, I know that's coming, so I'm going to do this. And it's just the same as you would in business, and everybody will do it naturally.
Yeah. It's practice. The only way you're going to get better. This is one of those things, because I get a lot of clients, and I'm sure you do as well. And they're just like, they're looking for the shortcut. How do they get better at doing video or live streams or any of that quicker? And I'm just like, you just got to do it. And this is one of those things that you cannot learn through book learning. I mean, you can learn all the little tips, you can learn all the little tricks, you can learn the breathing exercises. You can do all of it. So you hit that record button, you don't know what you're getting into.
There is no better procrastinator than somebody who's just decided that they can do video.
Oh, yeah.
I need a strategy. That's my favorite one. I need a strategy. Yeah. Your strategy is go on video and talk about yourself for 5 minutes. Well, tomorrow I have client visits all day. I can't possibly do that tomorrow. And like, then it's the weekend. And like Monday, I always answer emails on a Monday. So maybe Tuesday.
Yeah.
Why don't you just do it now?
I need the thumbnails first, and I didn't plan out the script yet.
Honestly, there's a great point by Stephanie there. Sorry, I don't mean to shorten your name, Stephanie. Highly edited video versus impromptu video. So I think my preference is more towards the organic side, right? I think there are things that you can do that are very, very simple to make your video look more professional, but it doesn't require, and nor should you ever contemplate, fully professional. Like, think that you need like Hollywood version editing, right? It's not about that, and I don't do that for my clients. It's about what can we
Realness.
do that's simple and easy, that reflects us in the best light, that doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take a lot of effort, and doesn't detract us from our day to day. Because let's be honest, video isn't why we got into business. It's something that helps drive that, absolutely. But to your point earlier, Heidi, you've got 99 of the things that you need to be on doing, at least.
Yeah,
So
at least.
get on, get it done, do what you need to. Like a nice logo in the corners, great. Maybe a bit of remastering on the sound if there's an automatic button to do that, which a lot of them have now. Cut out any edits that you need, and maybe a fade at the end, right? Like you don't need much more than that.
I mean, seriously, you don't even have. I mean, if you need to, just throw it up. I mean, done. Do it live. You don't have any choices.
Yeah.
And honestly, a lot of people, you like to say, I don't have the equipment. If you've got one of these, you've got the equipment. This is all you need to record video. I mean, can you get more? Of course you can, but this is all you need. Anything else is an excuse. Sorry, we're calling you out. We're calling you out. Giselle says she thank you guys. I need the practice. Yeah, that's the only thing that's going to make you guys better. And I mean, I agree with Stephanie. I don't. Now I will say on highly edited versus impromptu without edited, I don't care on that. I actually like the more real, as Paul knows this about me. I want real. I want authentic. But I also do think there is a perceived thing with once people get at a certain level. Now you can hop on and do the impromptu lives or whatever, no matter who you are. But if I saw, like I'm doing Lisa Nichols' public speaking course right now, if I saw her putting out video probably the way I do, even though we do decent amount of work on ours and they look really good, and obviously there's another level to go always. But if we saw her putting out the quality level we did, then there is a perception there. So I think it does depend on where you are in the cycle as well, or, where you are in the cycle, your knowledge, that, popularity. There is what I'm.
But even then, I'd say it's less about the professional editing and more about getting the right environment behind you and the right equipment, not doing anything particularly different. So I've got a client who he's a coach for CEOs, and he has an eye for marketing, he has an eye for graphic design and creativity. And his setup behind him is immense. It embarrasses the crap out of my background, right? He's got a lovely dark background with mood lighting, and it's all very premium and subtle. And he has a really good DSLR camera. I mean, I'm the only person that edits his videos, right? But he has a DSLR camera. He does everything properly. He's got a nice mic. And the feel is premium, but the editing is still very basic. It's top to tail. Doesn't even have captions. You won't even have captions on there. So top tail logo, nice. That's it.
Well, and I think that's a good distinction to make too. Is that regardless of what you're seeing, it's still regular editing behind the screens. So it doesn't. And even when, like I mentioned Lisa's as well. I mean, her videos though, she still comes off so real, so authentic. She has moments, tech fails. By the way, tech has failed on her twice, and we've only been on day 3. So just to let you know, if you're sitting there, my tech isn't good enough, and I'm worried about it failing. Even the pros with 27 years of doing this that have been on Oprah and other shows still have tech failures. So that's not an excuse. It's not. We're taking away all your excuses today.
All the tech fails. All the tech fails. I've good friends with a guy called Todd Caponi, who's a sales keynote speaker. And Todd's fantastic. What a fantastic personality. What an enthusiastic, passionate speaker. And he talks about transparency in the sales process. And he was telling me a story. I hope he doesn't mind me sharing. Todd, I'm sorry if you do. It's tough. It's out now. He was due to deliver a keynote remotely when he just delivered a keynote. I think it was out in Europe somewhere. And he was due to deliver another keynote back home in the US. And he was doing it remotely. And the Zoom room, he got to, hi, I'm Todd Caponi, and Zoom cut out. Not only did Zoom cut out, but it cut out for everyone in the room.
Oh,
so then there's a mad scrabble of people trying to get back on. And he managed to get back on from his phone, but he couldn't get back on from his laptop. Then he was in the wrong
Been
link.
there.
Then he came back. So these people in this room, there was 500 people in this room or whatever there was, had to wait 25 minutes to get the screen working. Meanwhile, they're all talking amongst themselves. And he still managed to get back on and deliver in the end. I can't imagine the nerves that brings with it to have to wait that long.
Oh, it's horrible. I had a masterclass I delivered about, I think 3 times ago. So about 3 months ago. And my entire Windows, thank you, Microsoft, sir. Just go in there. Windows decided it was going to do a forced update in the middle of my masterclass. So it took me out. And fortunately, this is one thing where my wingman, my husband, who runs the screens behind me, I was sitting there at first, I was scrambling, like trying to get things back, and I was like, shit. I literally went into his office, I kicked him out of his chair, took over his computer, and I finished the masterclass. Because what else you gonna do?
Yeah.
So we've got, let's see, Beth says, 100%, Heidi. I hear it all the time. What mic do I need? What camera? What backdrop? Beth does a lot of podcasting, so just do it. Worry about the tournaments later. Yes. And then Stephanie says, people are connecting with us for the professional videos unless we're selling video lessons or something. Truth.
Honestly, just don't worry about having all the right stuff at the beginning. I didn't. I had the iMac standard camera, and then I realized it wasn't quite high quality enough, so I bought a 4K camera from Amazon, and it was rubbish, and I was actually better on the old one. I went back to that. Then I got a laptop, and I was trying with the laptop, and I've had 3 desk mics and the USB mic, and now the lav mic. And you upgrade over time. You get to know what you need and what you want, and you'll upgrade over time. But if you never get started and you use the equipment as an excuse not to get started, you'll never need that other stuff anyway. So don't worry about it.
I guess I'm going to tell all masterclass stories today. But my last masterclass, my webcam went out in the middle. So Logotech, used them for years, but right now, $50, Amazon. That's 50 euros. I should say 50 euros. Amazon. Right now, because it had such great reviews online, I'm like, screw it. Why am I going to go something too much more expensive when this one has the top reviews right now? And it's great. It's a really good little webcam. It does 4K. It does up to 90 seconds. So they're not, and you can't beat it. I mean, it's just like, okay, it does 90 frames per second. Sorry, I was reading Stephanie's comment and got lost there, which I do sometimes. We know how those neurospicy brains work, don't we, Paul?
Too well. But I think Stephanie's comment brings it back really nicely to what we were saying in the first place. Is like we can have all these conversations about how you record video, and all that's great, and technology and equipment, and whether it's script or not, whether it be organic or not, how much editing to do, that's all great and well. But at the beginning of it all, you need to understand the raw power of using video, because in no other medium can you do this. And look into the camera, talk to your audience one-to-one. That's really scary to do, because I'm not actually looking at myself, I'm looking at the camera. I can see myself on the monitor down here, right? I can't do that on any other medium. And that makes me incredibly relatable to the right people.
Yep.
And they can understand my personality. They can understand what they get with me. They can understand what they don't get with me, especially if you're very clear about that. They know what I'm passionate about, how passionate I am, which doesn't come across in text. They can see any number of things about me that they can't get in any other way, and it creates that initial connection. And there are so many people out there that are on the fence, right? And I know because I speak to so many of them. You're all on the fence. I'd love to do video, but I'm just not quite there. You'll know when you are, because you'll probably be having a conversation with me or Heidi, right? Like you'll just go, right, do you know what? I'm there. At which point I'll just go, why are you kidding yourself? Because if you come into me and you're talking to me, then you're ready. Like, don't try and pretend that you're not, right? Let's just go with it now. But honestly, I can't tell you enough how much video could change the game for so many of you. And please don't kid yourself that it's just for YouTubers who are trying to reach Joe Public. It's not. If I can reach CEOs, and I mean global CEOs, I'm not just talking about people here in the UK or whatever. I've used video, and I've been at a conference where CEOs of big enterprise business have come down to my stand and asked to find where I am as a solutions consultant, and really wound my CEO up. Really wound him up because he was really annoyed because he wanted to talk to them. They wouldn't talk to him. They wanted to talk to me. And I was at the toilet. When you got to go, you got to go. And it was a 15-minute walk in that conference centre. It was huge. It was a huge conference centre. So, like, for somebody who had, and until 5 years ago, no experience with video, marketing, sales, any of that, to be stood here where I am, and you're calling me an expert. I hate the word expert because I don't believe anybody's an expert, right?
Yeah,
we're all on a journey.
Learning.
Just some of us are further down that path because we've studied harder or had to do it more or whatever. You can be me if you believe in yourself. Just take that bet, take that gamble on yourself, and move forward with it. But if you're going to do it, commit to it completely, right?
Yes.
Have the faith.
Yes.
And that might need somebody else to help you be accountable, right? You might need somebody else to go, do you know what? You haven't done your videos this month. Why haven't you done them? And that's not me, by the way. I don't do that for people, unless you're one of my clients. I don't do that for people. But we've all got that someone in our lives who could be that accountability to say, do you know what? You said you wanted me to poke you in the eye if you didn't do your videos this month.
We'll do that, won't we?
Find that eye.
We will do that.
It'd be a bit harder for Heidi. See what I did there?
I get called Heidi in Portugal because that's how they say my name here.
That's because they don't have a hurt, they have a
Yeah, but seriously, it is, and that's that's the same with people coming to me. I mean, I'm like, okay, it's time. Are you going to run an event, or are you going to do that? And like people, I'm not going to do an event ever, and I'm just like, bullshit. And it's like, the reason why they're not going to do an event is because they got to get on camera. And at the end of the day, if you really want to get yourself out there, I like to tell everybody and remind them, and I know you agree with me on this, is that if you want a shortcut, and we're not saying this does not take time, we're still telling you this is going to take 90 days, 6 months, consistent activity, good 90 days to really connect with it. Maybe you could do it faster. It does happen quicker, but this is the shortcut to building trust, to building relationships, to getting people to really get to know you faster than anything else you can do, because it's the way, other than being in person with you, which, I mean, look at how many people we reach using video that we cannot reach one-to-one. I mean, you go to a conference, you might meet a couple hundred people, or maybe you're on the stage in front of a few thousand, but still, to talk to them one-to-one, this is the only way you're going to do it. So stop holding back, guys.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. We've got, drop in your questions real quick. We're going to wrap it up here real quick. Paul has this amazing, I've already dropped the links in the comments. He has this amazing YouTube framework to get you started on YouTube, give you that jump start. Go grab it. He's not even making you sign up for it. He's just giving it to you. So go get it. And it is very freaking valuable. I'm already using tips from it. And Paul, what is one thing you want to leave them with today for sure? They don't.
I think for me, a lot of business owners struggle with the idea that they need to create content for social media because they want to be active on social media to generate business. And I come up against the problem that I don't have time all the damn time.
Amen.
My response is put video at the top of your content pyramid. So start with video at the beginning of the month. Pick some themes, and this is what the giveaway is all about, right? Pick some themes for the months. Pick some 2 or 3 talking points on that theme per month. Mm-hmm. Talk about them on camera for 15 minutes, maybe even 10, and then edit that up into clips.
Yeah.
By the time you edit it into clips, you've got 10 or 15 clips. That's, if you're posting 3 times a week, that's enough content for the month. You can turn that into images for quotes. You can turn it into audiograms. There are lots and lots of ways of repurposing that before you get into longer form content like blogs and newsletters. And all you've put in at the beginning is 20 minutes of your time. Granted, there's still editing time. You've got to learn that part of things and process. And I've got other giveaways that you can find out how to do all of that, because I'm a big believer that if you can do it yourself, you should be doing it yourself. And you can do it yourself if you want to. And it's far more efficient than sitting, as most people do at the moment, 8 o'clock on a Monday morning, sweaty palms, staring at the keyboard, wondering if they should be reading their emails instead, because that's easier than trying to write a post for LinkedIn, because I don't know what to write about today and I'm really tired and this week's going to be really busy and oh my God, I need to pay that bill. And before you know it, I've gone. Right? You can record video whenever you want. You can do it on a Sunday evening, whenever you're most relaxed, whenever you're most creative. Just get it done. Use that to flow down into all of your other content for the month and get back the time that you used to spend to run your business, please, because you don't spend enough time on it as it is.
I'm going to have to bow to that one, because I 100% agree with everything he said. And you mentioned blogs. You can still have blogs from your video content by using the script. So make the video.
It'll help you write them.
Yeah,
it's got a tool in it to help you write them.
Do the transcript, use it for the blog post, 2-for-1 deal. There isn't a piece of content that you could really repurpose that much. And if I can give you a small tip to add to that, just for those people who are like, well, I've got all the written content, I want to repurpose that. Fine, go on LinkedIn, pull up a year of content over on your analytics, take the top 10 written pieces you did, the top 10 for the year, make them into a video. That easy. You've already done it. It did well. It performed well. They liked it. Turn it into a video.
One caveat, please don't make a video about shaving your legs.
What? You don't want tips?
I'm starting to get to that age where I don't need the tips anymore.
Well, get that good at it. Guys, we promised you laughs.
And for anybody who's watching who's thinking, God, this guy must represent Descript, I don't. I do have an affiliate link, which I'll drop in the notes. If anybody wants to sign up through that, that'd be appreciated. I don't get a lot out of it, but I do believe, and I don't represent businesses that don't uphold my own values. I love the team at Descript. They're fantastic. What a great team. And no, I don't work for them. Feels like it sometimes. But guys, a new Descript hoodie, I would, that would be all right if anybody's watching.
Oh, Beth agrees with you on no shaving leg videos, by the way.
No, she's disagreeing. She wants you to make it.
Oh, they do. Oh, the ladies in my audience are resonating with that. Oh boy, yeah, that's a challenge.
Maybe I should make one.
I'm taking you up on.
maybe I should do one.
Oh, I know. I don't know. Well, maybe I'll just show you my equipment.
Did you just say that on a live?
We did. Okay, thank you so much, Paul, for all that call, the conversation, the laughs. We warned you guys it would be laughs. It always is with us. Thank you so much to our audience. We're always grateful for your questions. For all of you guys who are catching the replay, we will still show up and answer your questions, respond back to your comments. Just get them down there and let us know. Reach out to Paul, reach out to me. Both of us can help you on videos, events, whatever it is. And we will see you guys next time. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day. Thanks, Paul.